Welcome to another episode of Scratch in Practice. We're so excited to have everyone here for From Singing Sandwiches to Cheesy Poofs in Orbit, Leveling Up with Scratch. So before we start, please share, if you haven't already, where you're joining us from in the chat. And since this is a session about leveling up, what's a way you've leveled up? And I was just going to share about myself that when I was in college, I was pretty nervous about presenting in front of people, but I got a bunch of practice doing that. And now I can even present to lots of people that I can't even see. And I'm super excited to present today. So I leveled up in my ability to talk to people. How about you, Karen? Have you leveled up?
I mean, I feel like I'm trying to embrace a lifelong commitment to leveling up. Everything is iterative. You know, we're on a hopefully trajectory of improvement over time. But something I was excited about leveling up around this happened last year, but I'm still holding on to it, is I learned to ride a bike for the first time last year.
No way.
It felt like achievement unlocked, leveling up in a big way. I am now mobile in a different way. So next up is eventually to learn how to drive a car. So that's the next level in my trajectory of leveling up.
You know what? There's always more levels. And it's not even like a straight line, you know, it's not a staircase.
It's messy. I love all the leveling up we're seeing in the chat. I see Peter shared that he's a parent of a 7-month-old, so leveling up every day with new adventures. That's incredibly beautiful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Leveling up the classroom by observing how students are actively working to think for themselves. I love that one.
Gorgeous.
Teaching my first college class, 1,000 miles on a bike. Lots of trial and error with leveling up. It can mean lots of different things.
Yeah.
So let's just introduce ourselves. I'm Eric Rosenbaum. I work at the Scratch Foundation, where I'm director of Scratch Lab, inventing creative possibilities for the future of Scratch. I'm also Eric R. on Scratch, if you want to find my goofy Scratch projects. And we have Karen.
I'm Karen Brennan. I'm a faculty member at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. I direct the Creative Computing Lab there. I'm also a proud Media Lab graduate, which is where I got to first meet Eric. And I'm Karen B. on Scratch. So I've been a member of the Scratch community since 2007, which feels surreal to say.
Yeah, Karen and I have both been on this journey for a long arc. We joined the Media Lab where Scratch was created, both as graduate students in 2007. That was the year that Scratch launched to the world. So it's nice to be back putting on a show with Karen. We also have, very importantly, other Scratch Foundation folks helping out in the chat. So you'll see them pop in and out. JC, Marin, and Jarvis are incredible experts in many different aspects of Scratch. So I'm really grateful that they're here to help us out and be part of the session.
Taking good care of us.
Oh, yes. So what are we going to do today? We'll talk a little bit about creative learning, how we at Scratch think about learning and creativity. Then we're going to do what we call the Blocks Buffet. And then leave plenty of time to share and reflect. And then we have some stuff at the end. We'll share resources in particular about what we've covered, so you can bring them home with you. All right. So what do we mean by creative learning at Scratch? We design creative learning experiences with what we call the 4 Ps in mind. I'm going to do the quick version of this since we have a lot of blocks at our buffet. Yeah, we talk about projects as a focus where we create environments for kids to make things that they care about. And that passion is bringing yourself into what you make. We love the kind of creative expression that Scratch enables and seeing each person express himself differently through their passion. The spirit of play, which hopefully we will exemplify today, is tinkering, experimenting, trying stuff, even if you're not sure where it's going to go or what might happen. open-ended exploration. And peers, I didn't mean to skip that one, crucial one, is the social emotional learning aspect. So the other people involved, the collaboration, the new ways you get both ideas and help, but also emotional support and excitement from the other folks around you in the learning environment. So those are the 4 Ps. And then there's a 5th one, purpose, the why, the solving of problems, the impact on the world, the deeper connections.
Which is your favorite P, Eric?
Well, I'm kind of a play P person, personally.
Yeah.
I also like the alliteration part of the Ps, as you can see. What about you, Karen?
For me, it's definitely passion. Passion is the engine of learning, as supported by peers, as manifested through projects. So it's just like, I think it all starts with passion. So I'm excited to see the passion that you are bringing to the party today, Eric.
Thank you, Karen. Another way we talk about creative learning as a process is the spiral. So we imagine new possibilities, we create them with Scratch or other tools, we play, tinkering, testing, trying, we share, we bring them to the world or to each other, and crucially, we reflect. We step back from the work that we're doing and think about what it means, think back on the process we used, think forward to how we might do things differently in the future, and that continues the spiral. So it's this cyclic process. And today, you might be seeing some blocks you've seen before, maybe ones you haven't. And just remember, you're not going to get the whole picture today. It's part of this longer process that we're all part of in creative learning. And then the last piece about creative learning I wanted to share is these guiding principles for how we create environments like Scratch. And it's this house. Crucially, the low floor means that it's easy to get started. You take a little step in and you're there. You can make stuff with Scratch. The wide walls are about, once you're in, there's many directions you can take. There's lots of different things you can try. And the high ceiling is that you can get to complexity if you want to. And we were joking around about leveling up and that there's not just a single sequence of levels. And I think that's a really important aspect of Scratch, that there's not a single path to take. There's not a single notion of something being more complicated and so it's better. That there's just many things to try. And that's what brings us to today's Blocks Buffet. So as I thought about what it would mean to make a session about intermediate or advanced coding concepts, I thought about like, well, maybe we can show a few different blocks, but like in what order, and then how to emphasize to people that it's not about a specific progression. So I had this image of, well, we'll just give them a bunch of things to nibble on. You can fill your plate with different blocks. Maybe you like the taste of one more than the other. And also you can combine them in interesting ways. So just see what happens. And there's a set of 4 things here: the pitch effect, custom blocks, variables. We're going to do lists also, and clones. There's a lot to get through, so we're going to give you a taste of each. We'll see how that goes. And that first one, you could see the Scratch Cat is about to take a bite out of the set pitch effect block. I am particularly fond of using music and sound in Scratch. And actually, this one is a little lesser known, this idea of the pitch effect that we added in Scratch 3.0, the current version. I feel proud of being part of adding it. And so I thought, it's not the usual way to begin an intro to ideas in Scratch, but I thought could be fun to start there. So let me just switch over. And okay, now signed into Scratch. I got a blank project. And Karen, keep me honest here. We're going to try to do about 10 minutes on each of the 4 topics, plus or minus. And feel free to pause me and interject if I skip or forget something, or if you have a crazy suggestion or idea. Okay. First of all, let's make sure when I click the play sound block, which is how you use sound in Scratch, that we're getting the sound. Did that come through? Did we get it? We got a meow. Okay. So the pitch effect block, as you can imagine, changes the pitch of the sound. So if I just stack those together, we're going to change the pitch effect by 10 and then play the meow again. And as I keep clicking it, it's going up and up and up. I love this. And so what will happen if I do -10 instead? Oh, and I'm going to switch. This is an important distinction. There's two different blocks here for playing sounds. The play sound until done block, when I click on it, you can see it highlights that stack while the sound is playing, and then it stops. The start sound block starts, and so I can click this again and restart it over and over again. It's a way to do things a little bit more repeatedly, more quickly with sounds. It's just to use start sound instead of play until done. So now if I keep clicking that, oh, that's one more. Meow, it's getting deeper and deeper. Okay.
Eric, you're already having an impact. We have a report of a dog being sort of compelled to bark in response to this cat situation. I love it.
Amazing. So obviously it's not just about the meow. Let's switch to the sounds tab here. And then at the bottom left, we can click to open up the sound library. Let's pick another sound, maybe a short sound to play with. Any suggestions for a sound to change the pitch of? Oops, my cat here's getting nervous. Sorry about that. Eventually becomes a dinosaur. Well, we were talking about a dog. Maybe let's get a dog. Okay. Oh, let's play with this growl sound. Okay, I want to pause here on the sound editor. I can play the sound here, but there's all these buttons to manipulate the sound. And so we have faster and slower buttons here. And those actually are similar to what you can do with the pitch effect block. It's just that that block lets you change things with your code, change the sound's pitch with your code instead of just one time in the editor. So we'll put that growl sound back how it was. And now if I switch to growl, whoa, it's super low. That's too low. So how do you reset it? There's a couple different ways. There's this clear sound effects block. And so now to normal more. Also worth noting, anytime you click the green flag or the stop button, that clears that pitch effect. So I just wanted to show quickly doing this in a loop, because I think that is funny, especially if you go up. So let's, whoa, out of control. And actually there's a funny moment here where, sure, that is out of control. It got way too high, but it doesn't just keep going up forever. There is a kind of hidden guardrail in there. There's a maximum pitch that it stops at, so it doesn't just go shoot through the roof. And that reflects a kind of like deeper philosophy that we use in designing Scratch, that like you really can't break it. You can push it to the extremes in any direction you want to try, and it's safe. And that's a really important fact when you're learning by tinkering, just by trying things, because you might accidentally find the edges. And also kids, we notice very intentionally find the edges, and we want to support that kind of learning, exploring the different ways you can go all the way in one direction or another. So another fun thing to experiment with the pitch effect is music loops. So let me just open up the sound library again. We have all these categories. One of them is loops. So let's see, what could we try here? How about the chill one? Yeah, it's piano with some reverb on it. And if we take this, the play sound until done version of that block, and put it in a forever loop, we can get that music going. I'm just gonna actually quiet it down with the softer button. Talk over a little bit. Hopefully that sounds okay. And then what I'll do It's just each time I click the change pitch effect, that music loop is getting a little higher and a little higher and a little higher. And one of the cool things that you can do with that, and I've seen kids do this in their games or other projects, is change the feeling of what it's like. So for instance, as you progress through the game, maybe you're leveling up in the game, the music can get a little faster and more intense, and a little more and a little more and a little more. Maybe we could even quickly try to do something like that. It's like, what if we made a simple clicker game? So I'll use the when this sprite clicked block, and we'll change the pitch effect. Well, let's just start there. Okay, so I'll start the sound when I press the green flag. And now when I click my cat, each time music is going up. It's not really a clicker game yet, but if I just add this go to random position block, what does that do? Each time I click on that, the cat is going to jump to a random position on the stage. So if I add that to my stack here, now, each time I click, music is getting faster and faster. So it actually feels like the game is getting more intense as I click, even though that's all that's happening. So just a really simple example of using that pitch effect block in just a super minimal kind of game.
I think you're also so beautifully demonstrating the power of headphones in a classroom environment.
Yeah. That is important to some people, to make sure that the sound doesn't bother everyone. I can see how that would be the case. There are a couple other things I wanted to show. One is this how to use the pitch effect block project that I made. That's a kind of tutorial as a Scratch project. Let me switch tabs to that. Are we seeing that? Yeah, so if I run this, so it shows a little bit like what I just showed you, but inside a project. So clicking on the sprite to make it go up. Making a moo go up, or using a negative number to make it go down. But there's other things you can do. You can use the pitch effect to make your own musical instrument. So I've made a set of sprites that set the pitch to different notes. And if you're musical, and you know a little bit about a piano, like this is C, D, E, F, G, those notes are separated by 10 steps on the pitch effect. So if C is 0, then the D, whoops, I said it wrong. They're separated. The semitones, the half steps, are separated by 10 steps. So if I go up like this, it's going up with the pitch effect 10 steps each time. So I can make a whole piano out of a particular sound, or I can choose any sound. A bark sound, a whole ukulele chord, or bonk. I could play Happy Birthday on a bonk. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. I think it's funny. Here's a totally different way to use the pitch effect, which is to use it more continuously. So here we're going to play some music, and then as I drag this character up and down, it's going to set the pitch effect to the mouse Y, the vertical position up and down. It feels so expressive to move the sound around with the mouse like that. And the code for it is so simple. So I love playing around with that. And then the project also has a few other options. And then because I'm realizing I did put the singing sandwich into the title of this session, I feel compelled to show my singing sandwich project just briefly. Let's give a warm welcome to Singing Sandwich and the Noisy Lunch Band. So again, we can click and drag.
Yum, 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 yum. Yum. Yum, yum.
And then also there's the I guess that's a soda, and then the bag of chips. And then if I click demo,
Yum, 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 yum.
That's probably enough of that.
Eric, this is amazing, but you did sort of ask me to help you keep track of time, and we have spent a delicious amount of time at this part of the buffet station, but we have so much else at the buffet: clones, variables, custom blocks. Do we want to do like a little check-in with the chat to see, do people have an impulse about what they want to sample next at the buffet? Do people have feelings about clones, variables, custom blocks?
Good question. And if there's any questions that popped up along the way, I'm happy to address also.
Oh, we got 2 votes for clones. Terry wants it all. Maybe we start with clones. I'm seeing a bunch of like uplifting of clones as the next step. So
all right.
You, Eric?
I mean, I love clones. There's only one of me, but we can make a lot of Scratch Cats if we want to. Cool. All right, let's go there. As you can see at the bottom of this slide, there's a link to a YouTube video. You'll get all these links by email after the session. We have a bunch of different resources to help you review. Loving the energy, thanks. So how can we make more cats? That's one question that you can ask about clones. So let's go back to this little minimal clicker game that I was playing around with. And when I click on the cat, we're going to take out the music for now. And then, it doesn't make any sound at all. So let's make like something little, like a pop sound, just so we keep that in there. So I added the pop sound from the library, and then I'm gonna go start sound pop. So each time I click on the cat, the pop goes up. But what if each time I clicked, we got another cat? I don't know if there's any cat owners out there, but wouldn't you just want more cats? Maybe not. So I just dragged out this create clone of myself block. Before putting it in the stack, I like to just sort of poke at things and see what they do. So this is a funny one. When you click the create clone block, you don't necessarily see anything happening, but watch if whoops, my code is still running here. Each time I click that, if I drag the cats around, you can see, I'm already in whew, my demo's a little out of control here. I'm already in the situation of not knowing which is the original. And you can always just click the stop button, and now you're back to just having the original cat. Okay, I took apart my code a little bit, so I don't have the when this sprite clicked going, and now there's just the one cat. Okay, let's do it again. I create the clone by clicking that block, and where is it? It's just stacked on top of the first one. So now when I drag it, there's actually 2 cats there. And if I click create clone again, wait, I don't know which one was the original. Oh, it was this one. There, now I've got 3. Okay, so it makes a temporary copy of your sprite is what the create clone block does. So if I add it back to this stack now, each time I click, what's going on here? It's slightly confusing result, but we're getting lots of cats. And now, this is not the best clicker game, actually, I think. I have a different idea for how this could work. What if instead of cloning when you click on it, we make a bunch of them at the beginning? So we could do like repeat 10, create clone of myself. And this is where, what I envision when I do that, I don't want them to just stack up like they did before, because now they're 10 clones all in one place. I really want them to start out in different places. And that's where the when I start as a clone block comes in. So what happens is, when that create clone of myself block runs, it creates a new clone, and then that clone, and only that one, will run the stack that's attached here. And so we could, for instance, just have them go to a random position right when they start. So let's just start with that.
Could you also change their color or size? This was like a really cool suggestion from the chat.
Oh, yes, let's do that. So first, let me just show running this.
Yeah.
You see the 10 appear. And then we could also, one way to change the color is with this color effect block. And it's an interesting, non-obvious thing about this. If I put that here, what's going to happen? Well, they all start out orange, and then they each get this change color effect when they get created. So they each just have it happen once, and they each become green. If I want them all to be different, there's a bunch of ways to do that. One way is to apply it to the original. So it's changing color effect 10 times. So it'll be 10 different colors. And then the clones, because they're copies, they'll keep that color change. And so each one will be different. So then, whoops, oh. And also worth noting, I now have, without changing anything else, a clicker game where I can click on each of the cats, because all of them, now that they've started as clones, still have this when this sprite clicked stack that they can run. So they can each on their own do this part. And I think I want to make like bubble wrap. It's really just because I added that pop sound, but let's go to the costumes tab here, and I'll get a ball, a pink one. All right, and now if I click stop, I get rid of my temporary clones. And if I run it again, now I've got different colored, it's like party bubble wrap, I don't know. So now I can click each one, but they jump away. And so that's actually not what I want for the bubble wrap. I want them to vanish. And so that's where there's another clone block called delete this clone. And if I just stick that in there, now, oh my, it's so satisfying. Wait. Oh yeah, there's a funny issue there. I can't delete that one. Why is that? Why is that, Karen?
Is it your original?
It's the original, yes. So the delete this clone block only deletes clones. And so one thing that people typically do when they're making a bunch of clones of a sprite in a game or animation effect is they'll hide the original. So that hide block makes it disappear. And then when the clone appears, it has to show itself. So you have to do both of those things. But if I do that, now I've only got the clones showing up. I should be able to very satisfyingly delete them all. Okay.
That's deeply satisfying.
Cool. And then we could put back, if we want, the this one. Oh, actually, that's interesting. What's going to happen? Right. There's a funny problem here, which is that you notice the pitch effect here doesn't actually affect this sound. That's because, let me get rid of that. Each sprite and clone has its own pitch effect. And so to fix that problem, I will need to use a variable. But before we jump into that, I see a question about age ranges of cloning. Well, it's not about like asking about like cloning sheep or whatever. That's not for any age. Age range of cloning in Scratch. It does feel like one of those things that is super fun and expressive, but requires knowing a little bit of the basics. I wouldn't want to give a fixed answer about age.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. And so for example, Karen Scranton in the chat shared that she's done cloning with 7-year-olds, and so you're going to see younger kids who are excited about and enthusiastic about playing with cloning, depending on their prior experience and the level of scaffolding. So I think it's a strong, it depends. It sort of depends on the supportive surround. So it can be very powerful, very playful.
And as we've been saying, there's no fixed sequence for concepts in Scratch. You could put it in a super advanced context or in a really simple, playful approach closer to the beginning, maybe not right at the beginning. But yeah, great question. So I was going to fix my bug about the pitch effect. So let's introduce the idea of a variable here. we're just kind of like jumping around in the buffet. It's like, that looks tasty. So I'm going to click on the variables area here. A variable is a container for data. Could be numbers, could be words. I'll click the make a variable button here and say, we're going to add a score. We're actually going to use the score to change the music in a minute. So when I create that variable, a couple things happened. It shows up as a block here on the blocks menu, but also on the stage, there's this little display, and that's controlled by this checkbox. So if I uncheck it, it goes away. I can check it to display it. So it's a helpful way to see what's in your variable. Now, this change block has a menu. If I pick the score variable and then click on it, I'm giving myself some points. All right, so I have 10 points. So if, cool, if I just drop that into my stack, now each time I click on one of my bubbles, I'll get a point. Actually, I want more points. Let's get 10 points each time. Okay. And then now when I press the green flag, shoot, I still have 13 points. You got to reset your score. So at the beginning, I'll just put it in right here. We'll use this set block. So before we use the change block, so that adds 10 to the score. What we want to do at the beginning is set it to 0. So now when I click the green flag, we set the score to 0. And now when I click any one of these, I should get some points. Cool. And the idea I had in mind here for playing with the sound was, what if while the sound is playing, we set the pitch effect to the score? It's kind of a crazy idea. And we can't put it in this loop because we want it to happen anytime the score changes. And this play sound until done block, it only resets after however many seconds that that sound takes. So I'm going to make a new stack, because in Scratch you can do a lot of things at once, and add a forever loop there. And we're going to set the pitch effect, as crazy as this sounds, to the score. And I'm just going to like add more. We'll do 30 clones. Okay. Now each time, oh yeah, woo! It's going higher and higher, background music. As I click on each new clone, I get more. Oh, I gotta finish now. Music's so crazy. I did it. Okay. Just had to get through all of that there. I know that took a second. Why don't I pause for a second, having completed my bubble wrap, and talk about where we should go next. Oh, I was thinking about my Mad Libs bear. You want to see a Mad Libs bear?
Always, obviously.
So this is a way to use variables. This is just to jump away from our clicker game paradigm. I was really inspired by some Mad Libs projects that I've seen, including from Marin, who's here with us today. And I thought, well, what's the simplest possible version of that? So a Mad Libs, let me just demonstrate it first. Mad Libs game where you get asked some questions and then it fills in a tiny story with your answer. So I'll name an animal. Flamingo. And then name a food. I'm going to go with Cheesy Puffs. So we're on theme for today's event. So I put in Flamingo and Cheesy Puffs. And then it says, surprisingly, the Cheesy Puffs ate the flamingo. Not necessarily the outcome you expected there. And it's a simple program where the idea is we can use this ask block and put the results into a variable. So let me break it down. If you haven't seen the ask block, super handy one. When I click on that, it puts the question into a speech bubble, just like the say block, but it also opens up this little prompt box. And so I can type in something, whatever I want. And then when I press the button or click enter, it just closes it. But the answer appears in this answer, we call it a reporter block. So if I click on that, it spits out the something that I just typed in. It's also got a checkbox so you can see what's in there. if you want to leave that on. But what we've done in this program is made a variable, and we set the variable to the answer so that we can ask another question and set that one to the new answer. And then we've stored the two different words that I typed in two different variables. And again, I can show those. So you can see we've still got the food, Cheesy Puffs, and the animal, Flamingo, stored in our variables. So they can store not just numbers, but also words. And then putting it all together, I used the say block here to say, surprisingly, the food ate the animal. So I'm using a mix of words I typed in here with the variables to construct a bigger sentence. And that's using this join block, which is a little abstract, but very powerful. And it just puts together two strings of letters, what we call strings. And so if I click on this, you can see, what does join apple banana do? The result is just apple banana. And actually, sneakily, there's a space here. So if I remove that, you get apple banana. And so just one of the tips here for using join is to remember, if you want spaces to appear in the sentence, you got to add them. So I put a space after the. So where it's join, surprisingly, the food, you don't get the Cheesy Puffs. You got a space between the and cheesy. And then you can nest these join blocks into each other, like I've done here, to combine several things, more than just two. And so that's how I put together with join, 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 that whole sentence.
That's so beautiful. Eric, we might need to pop back to the game because there have been a couple of questions related to clones and things. Yeah. There's also like, feature request. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you cool with heading back to bubble wrap game?
I've got a lot on my buffet plate here. Let's pause and
But before we leave, Matt Woodbear, beautiful question from Allison. Can join be used for anything other than words?
Yes, you can. Anything that you can type into that input field. And let me, get back to it here. So if I want to join a number, I can do, if I have like 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and then click on that, you can see it. It just puts them together, what we call concatenating, just sticks them together end to end. And then because internally, Scratch tries to handle data in the way that you expect, so as not to be surprising, you could use that joined number as a number. If I added 1 to that, it would do the right thing. It would make it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, if you followed me through that. So yeah, you can use join to combine whatever letters and numbers you want. And then you can drop in variables or other reporter blocks into it to join other kinds of things together.
Amazing. Thank you.
Seeing some other questions pop up.
So there's a request for you to save and share the project, the bubble wrap project.
Oh, gosh, I don't know if I'm ready to save and share that. Is it done? Jeez, I think everybody feels that way sometimes, right? Like,
I think you and I are both big fans of works in progress. Share early, share often. It's an opportunity for feedback and growing together. So
it totally is.
Make it better.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm feeling all right about my bubble wrap project. I think I'm just going to put it in space, so it feels a little more finished.
That makes sense.
Galaxy or star? I'll go with stars.
Yeah.
Let me just test it one more time. All right, I'm feeling good about that. We're showing the score. Let me give it a name. Space bubble wrap clicker with clones and pitch effect. That's too long. Space bubble wrap clicker. Okay.
Can we add a timer?
And then, what's that?
Could we add a timer?
Could we add it? In principle, we could. You know what I'm going to suggest? I'll click the share button. And now
anyone can add a timer.
Anyone can add a timer.
Love it.
1,000.
Crowdsource those features.
Nice. Any other questions pop up that we should address?
An earlier question about if you hide the original sprite, you are safe from deleting it. You don't have to put it off the stage, correct?
So this question reflects definitely some prior knowledge and the fact that there's like a bunch of different ways to do things. And that's one of the beautiful things about Scratch is people find their own workarounds for these recurring challenges. And so one of the things you can do in addition to using hide and show is just kind of move something way off the edge. Another one is you can use the ghost effect. So it's like the color effect that we showed, but it makes something transparent, which can be to the point of it being invisible. So there's different ways to make something not show up if you don't want it to show up.
How are we doing on the buffet?
There's still more delicious things to cover. Let's talk at least a tiny bit about lists. And I think for that, it's going to make sense just to start from an empty project again. Unless there's a really specific idea for using a list with the bubble wrap, which I don't have right now in my head. But all right, so oops, am I on the blank project? Yes. Okay, so what is a list? If we go to the variables tab, in addition to all of our variables stuff, there's this button, make a list. Let's just make one. I'm going to make a list of ideas. A list of, what should I make a list of? Snacks? List of
snacks at buffet.
We'll make a list of fruits. And again, a couple things happen. We get a bunch of these red list blocks. And then also the list monitor appears here, and it's empty right now. If I want to just directly add stuff to it by typing them in, I can click this plus button, and now an entry appears. So I'll add strawberry. And if I hit enter, I get another one. So let's just add a few fruits. Star fruit. Any other fruits people want to call out? Grapes.
Apple.
Apple.
Mango from Lisa.
Mango, thank you.
Kiwi from Chris.
Let's get a couple more.
Avocado.
Is that a fruit? What even is fruit? Okay, let's keep going.
Orange, pomegranate, durian, watermelon. They're coming fast and furious. Date. Starfruit, lime.
Oh, I gotta do lime. Okay, we have 13 fruits in our list, and you can scroll up and down. These lists can get really big, and that's fine. So what can you do with a list now that we have it? So there's this reporter block. If I click on that, it just spits out everything together in the list, all in a row. That's not that useful, but sometimes it's useful. What if we wanted our cat to pick a random fruit? So there's this item of block. So item 1 of fruits. What's that going to be? Anybody know what item 1 is going to be? Yep, strawberry. So if I click on that, you can see it pops out strawberry. And so if for whatever reason I wanted my sprite to say the first fruit on the list, I can just drop that item 1 block in there, and now the cat will say strawberry over here. But I wanted a random one, and I can actually drop in the pick random block for the item number. So if I say like item 2, we'll get banana. Item 3, we get starfruit. But if we do item pick random, this pick random block, if you haven't played with that before, it spits out random numbers. So if I click on it, I get 10, 2, 7, 4, different random number each time. So if I drop it in, now I can say a random fruit. But there's a bug in my program here. I am getting random fruits, strawberry, apple, mango. But the bug is that I'm not getting all of them. I'm never going to get durian. Is that okay? Maybe that's okay. Anyway, I'm never going to get durian here because that's the 11th. And so I want to have the range for the random reflect the length of the list. So I can just put in 13 there. And now, oh, let's put that in a forever loop, which will look kind of cool. Whoa, super fast random fruit selector. But in general, if I wanted to like keep adding more fruits, there's a thing called a finger lime. So now I have 14. I guess I could put lemon. And then it's out of sync, right? Oh, there's an extra one. You can delete that by clicking the X. So a way to solve that problem of making sure that we're covering the range is there's this length of block. And if I click on that, it says 15. So it knows the length of the list. And I can say pick random 1 to length of list. And so now it's a little bit of a mouthful. Say item, pick random 1 to length of fruits. And now, each time I'll get a random fruit, possibly including durian and lemon, etc. Oh, I got durian. Okay. So that's one way to use a list, is to get a random phrase from a whole list of a whole bunch of them. For a sort of complicated project that puts together this use of picking a random element of the list, here is my talking centaur band name generator. So
Click me to generate a random band name.
each time I click the centaur,
Introducing Utahraptor in the Unmarked Universe.
one of my favorite bands. Let's try one more time.
Introducing Jelly and the Jet Jupiters.
That's a pretty good one. So the internals of that project are a little complicated, but what it does is it picks random words from a word list, making sure that it's alliterative. So the words start with the same letter. We love alliteration, as we discussed earlier. And then it also uses text-to-speech to say that band name out loud. Okay, maybe I'll pause there again, and let's do a time check. We want to make sure that we leave some room to get some of our guests up on screen with us to share if they've been, either if they have questions or ideas or thoughts, or if they've been coding along with us and trying things out as we go, or if they have student work they want to share. And we have special guests. Does anyone from our invitees to share? So that could be Deanna or Alex or Kai, feel like jumping in.
Kai has shared a number of really lovely ideas in the chat to warmly call Kai in. Oh, Deanna would love to.
Oh, okay.
Yay!
So yeah, you should have a button, and our team can help you out if you're stuck on that. Let's see. We have, for this session, we have another 25 minutes. So we have some time to talk through some additional ideas.
There was a question about lists while Deanna's getting set up. Can lists have images?
Whoa, that would be cool. Not right now. So Scratch has a notion of data in it, things that you can store in the variables. That's really just letters and numbers. That said, there's some crazy things that kids have managed to do on Scratch as workarounds. Okay, we've got Kai. Hi, welcome, Kai. Thanks for joining.
And Deanna is sharing her screen. So we've got like multiple friends to share.
Amazing.
So cool.
Well, let's get Kai. Or wait,
here.
Deanna is sharing, but we have Kai on video. Sorry about that, everybody.
Nope, just a little challenging. It's taken its time to let us share things here. So,
all right, thanks for your patience, folks. We'll start with Kai and then have Deanna up next. Thanks, JC. Good suggestion.
Okay, hopefully it's sharing.
Cool.
It says sharing, but I don't see it. Oh, there we go. Okay, finally. So we were dealing with some Scratchcat clones a little earlier, and so I decided to come up with a little. I had teased about herding cats, and so I created a real life simulation here. You'll notice a nice sunny spot on the carpet, and all of the clone cats will continue marching around the room until they find that nice cozy spot on the ground, and then they no longer leave. And oops, if I had correctly switched costumes there, you'll notice they all decide to, when they finally find the nice warm patch on the carpet, they'll all close their eyes and take a nap.
I love that. Successfully herding cats. as and
So,
to me, also, it's wonderful that there's a fun, playful story aspect here, but it's also, in another sense, a biology simulation because it reflects observations of cat behavior.
exactly.
And then
It's
simulate.
from my Jane Goodall inspired real life research of cats. I can tell you this is a deeply accurate simulation. Um, so, just an idea that came up while we were doing this. Something else I wanted to show off was actually a little clone project I made that sort of explains a little bit about the Bernoulli principle. I just sort of randomly spun my mouse wheel on a curriculum document and went, what should I make a project about? And it said flight. And so, for example, this is basically a little simulation. We've got a little paper airplane or aerofoil and some air molecules. And as we have our aerofoil move through the air, it, of course, pushes down the molecules underneath the airfoil, which then causes it to lift up. So we can sort of bring real scientific principles to life with Scratch. And that means that, we can always have lots of fun with coding, but we can also take it and use it as a tool to teach other curricular outcomes and needs. So just a fun little project I came up with the other day.
It's beautiful, and I love that there is this deep connection between coding and simulation and science concepts, and especially between the idea of clones and a certain kind of simulation where you have many individual parts acting out simple rules that collectively have some behavior that emerges.
Yeah, we get to see that emergent system, emergent behavior when we get to work with clones, which is such a great reason to work with a computer.
It's a powerful idea, and Mitch Resnick, one of the founder creator initially of Scratch, his own dissertation project was about this idea. And there's a wonderful book that he wrote called Turtles, Termites, and Traffic Jams. There's the alliteration again, about this idea of like having many, in that context, they're called agents, acting out simple rules and showing emergent behaviors. And you could do some of that stuff, a lot of it, in Scratch with clones.
Exactly.
Cool. Should we go to, thank you, Kai.
Yeah,
Really
no problem. I'll share these projects and pop the links in here for people.
Amazing, thank you.
And let's go to Deanna. And while we wait for her to get set up, any other? Oh, somebody mentions Game of Life. Neela mentions Game of Life in the chat is another kind of thing. You could make that with clones. I bet any one of these ideas, just search on the Scratch site. You'll find somebody's explored it. And if they haven't, it's a good reason to try it. Welcome, Deanna.
Hi, thank you. I'm going to share, I've been working on a couple projects, but I have to tell you that these projects are totally inspired by my students and something they're working on now. So one of the cool things that we're doing is, and hopefully, so we've partnered with like our school PTA, and they run a community, like a holiday charitable drive every year. And so this year they partnered with a local nonprofit that was started by a 9-year-old. So I love it. I'm in elementary school, so these are 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. They partnered with a nonprofit that was started by a 9-year-old over a decade ago. And the mission of that organization is called 3B, Bray's Brown Bags. And the mission of that organization is to provide healthy food to people in need, and really talking about the paradox between people that are food insecure and the prevalence of overweight or obesity because of the lack of nutrients and a bunch of other reasons. And so our students had to research that and then come up with a project, a coding project related to what they learned either about the organization or how their values tied in with the organization's values. And so it's a really good community service project. But one of the things that a lot of our kids seem to want to do is they focused on this healthy food, junky food concept. And so, this is kind of like a whack-a-mole game, except I'm going to whack the junky food. And I've taken everything you've showed us today, Eric. So if I start, let me see. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. So, okay, what's my name? So my name is Coach. My gentle music is playing in the background because I softened it just like you said. I've got all these clones, they're different colors. And if I start trying to click on healthy food, I get a bonk if I click on junky. And I think once I get to 10, hopefully I coded this right. I'll click somewhere healthy food real quick.
Oh, I think we're not getting the sound from your project, but we can
that's okay.
Imagine it.
The sound is speeding up as I'm clicking the healthy food. I get a bonk when I click like the cheesy poofs. And the cheesy poofs change, right? Because I cloned them and I changed the costumes. So now it's a donut, now it's a cake. And the sound speeds up. When I got to 10, my little hippo, I used that join. I had never, ever used that before to say, great job, coach, keep it up. So words of encouragement. My kids will love this. I can't wait to see them next week. They're going to love it. They're just going to eat it up. And then just the other thing I was looking at is they love these fantasy characters, right? So I see so many centaurs, I can't even tell you. And I love that they changed the colors and the centaurs will have horns coming out and flames coming out. I mean, they just switch it up. But again, this is something similar. So using that list idea, right? Come up with a list of junky foods, come up with a list of healthy foods. And, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But I'm just coming up with an idea saying, okay, so this guy's on repeat, right? Going through the list of healthy foods. Maybe this guy will talk about junky foods. Not sure yet where they'll go with that. I'm just going to show them this, I think, as is, because usually their ideas are way better than mine. So that's what I'm thinking. Just show them that this is something they can do. And I can just imagine them making this into a game or some kind of animation or somebody's, mediating an argument. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it's going to be fantastic.
So exciting to see what you've been playing around with. Thank you. And also especially that people take things in directions that we didn't expect. And we always see that as a sign that we're doing the right thing. Oh, could we quickly see the hippo code there? I wanted to see your join block.
Oh, yeah. So I think, where did I put it? Did I put it on the hippo? Oh, yeah, so I did a broadcast. So I think I have it on the click of a healthy food. If I get to 10, then I broadcast this first message. Maybe they'll do a bunch of messages. I don't know. And when I receive the message, I just say, join the name with "you're doing great." That's it.
Perfect. That join block is a really powerful, simple concept that can be used in lots of complicated ways. Like so many things in computer science.
Yes.
You can go deep with that and combine it with other blocks in lots of cool ways. Thanks for sharing. We have also, Alex was interested in sharing, but yeah, I really appreciate your, especially also the idea of getting the inspiration from the kids about how they might use things. We'd love to see that.
Yeah, they're excited. And, I have to say the nonprofit is also excited. So it's just a really good community builder to bring these things in kind of an unexpected way. They were like, you're doing what with our brown bag? Right? We're coding your brown bags, basically.
Cool. Okay, so thank you so much. Let's bring Alex in if we can.
Thank you, Deanna. That was just so beautiful. I love how she's using sort of a starter project that the kids can dig into and extend and imagine in whatever ways that they're most excited. I also love the centaur as like a catalytic. It's an icon. The centaur is an icon.
I mean, I'm obviously a huge fan of the centaur also. And different people gravitate towards different characters that are meaningful, or they draw their own. Of course, you can create your own. Oh, and she's sharing links to the projects. Thank you. That's, it's like we can provide examples, but we especially love examples from educators and from kids just to show all the unique ways people can express their ideas. So any updates from Alex? Hopefully he's able to click. Yeah, if you click the share audio and video button up at the top, we have about a little under 15 minutes left. I noticed that there's a buffet item we didn't touch yet, which is the custom blocks concept. So I don't know if we'll have time to do that. We'll make sure that we get Alex on to share if we can.
Isn't that always the way with a buffet, though? Like, you think you're going to get a little bit of everything, but then it's just like you're
Starting to feel a little full, yeah. Hey, Alex.
getting full.
Hey,
Friend of the buffet. Hi, Alex.
thank you. I'm so sorry. I was having trouble connecting in.
You are fine. We're thrilled that you are here.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have to admit, I was blown away when you started doing the cloning, and I was like, wow, blown off. So I just tried to make something. I don't know if you're able to see my screen.
Not yet. We'll give it a minute.
Yep. There you go.
Here it comes. All right. Thank you.
Yes, not fully developed, but my thoughts were of lion hunting the scratch cat. So the game and safari experiences are big time in my country, in Kenya. So I thought of the lion going after the cat each time, and it keeps changing the color and moving randomly. Moved so fast. So I didn't get to really finish the project, but this is something that I'm gonna work on and add a score for each cat you get. The lion gets a certain number of points. Then I can add a list of different types of animals that the lion can be hunting.
Awesome. There's obviously a very local connection there. That's really fun to see. And also, I just really appreciate your willingness to share work in progress. That's hard for everybody. So I'm grateful for that, because it's often it can be intimidating when somebody shows a really complicated project and feel like, oh, I couldn't get there. And so really exciting to see the step that you've been able to just get to today, which is already a lot, actually. It's worth noting there are, as you said, a bunch of concepts in what you made already. And you have big ideas for how to take it forward. So I'm grateful for that you're willing to share work in progress.
Incredibly beautiful.
Cool.
So what next, Eric? We only have like 10 minutes left.
Let's see. I have a wrap-up slide. Maybe we can just kind of like take our time walking through that, because
That's lovely.
we could do like 5 seconds of custom blocks. Actually, I can show that in a slide really fast, just to point to it, and then people can follow up on that on their own. So let me just rewind. Whoops. Here we go. So what do we mean by custom blocks? There's a button you can press to make your own block. There's a lot of options. This is just one example. Sometimes you want to use both the say block that makes a speech bubble appear and the speak block that actually speaks the text out loud. So one custom block I often make is say and speak. So you can put in the words one time and it gets used in both of those blocks. So that's just one example, but also we have this really wonderful learning resource PDF. We have many forms of media that we create here at Scratch to help people learn. But a really good starting point for all of that stuff is our PDFs are little guides to some topics. And this one is about my blocks, and it shows lots of different examples and walks you through what you can do, and then also has links to some of the example projects. And also there's a series of 3 YouTube videos on this topic, because with custom blocks, you can go really deep. And so I just wanted to provide a little entry point to the custom blocks concept about just their reflections on what they heard today and what they experienced as they tried it out. Deanna's saying this is going to save kids so much time. Appreciate that.
Yeah, connecting back to the creative learning spiral, reflection was one of the 5 key elements. And yet it's one of the things we so often need to cut because of time, right? You're so busy with the making and building and sharing, and then, oh my goodness, suddenly we're out of time. But like, there's no learning without reflection. And so creating that space for you, for your students. And I love asking people, yeah, what was something that was surprising to you? Mitch introduced me to that question and it's been so generative for me and for my students. What was something unexpected for you? Something surprising for you, Eric?
Yeah, well, I loved people's willingness to jump in, and it was fun to see how they combined the different buffet items, the different blocks that we introduced, and just how much people can accomplish in that short time while also listening along. That's exciting. And Peter says, I love the interactive demo projects that share new ideas and show how it works. And might have the undergrads work on something similar. Yeah, so we provide resources and examples, but we obviously love to see other folks creating their own resources for their context, for their whoever they're working with. Sarah loved the information about the pitch blocks. Here's a fun project my class created using the clone block. Oh, cool. We'll have to have a look at that. Thank you for sharing. And questions coming in. There's a lot of questions coming in. The speak and say custom block concept is one of the starting points, one of the entry points for custom blocks, but there's other powerful uses for it, as you'll see in our resources. There's a question about Scratch Lab. So we have this site at lab.scratch.mit.edu where we've posted some experimental versions of Scratch that have new blocks that aren't on Scratch that you can try out. Ingrid mentions that narrating while creating is a helpful teaching tool. Yeah, I love doing that. There's, of course, depending on what you're comfortable with, different ways to introduce Scratch and to demonstrate. I like to sort of describe and think aloud while I'm poking at the blocks. It's just one of the ways. Somebody mentioned they were not aware of the text-to-speech blocks. So they are in the extension. So down at the bottom left corner of your Scratch editor, there's a button that opens up a whole world of other blocks. An extension is a collection of additional blocks. And one of those extensions is called text-to-speech. You type in something and it will say it out loud. It's so expressive and fun. And that's a great thing even for very beginners. It can be the first thing that you play with. And let's just address a couple more questions. Scrolling through here. Really appreciate the engagement in the chat from folks. Thank you so much for that. Oh, I totally forgot to do this poll. I was gonna post the poll. Oh, and now I can't. Oh, whoops, there we go. I meant to do that at the beginning. I'm still curious to know, since you're here with us, talking blocks buffet, if you can just tell us your Scratch experience level, beginner, intermediate, or advanced in the poll. We'd love to know. Text-to-speech does not support Greek. Yeah, that's one of our challenges. We really want Scratch worldwide to be available to people in their own language in whatever context they're coming from. And so we've done what we could so far to support as many languages as possible in the translation of the interface and in the translate block and in the text-to-speech block, but we haven't done everything yet. I want to make sure that we point to the resources. So we have a lot of resources listed on this slide. You'll get a copy of this. It includes many things that I mentioned and showed, and also others that I didn't. Really useful stuff in there for you to graze and snack on. We made it. We did it.
This was so fun. Eric, as always, I am so inspired by your generative creativity. I have like a million new ideas that I want to go away and play with. I might be driving people in my household a little crazy with all the pitch bending, but I'm here for it. Unapologetic.
More sound is better. Well,
Yes.
More sound going up, 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 up. It's even better. Yeah, thank you so much to all the folks joining. Kai points out everyone's a kid when Scratch is involved. I certainly think so. Thank you so much for joining the session. Thanks to Karen, to our Scratch team support here. And thank you to Deanna and Kai and Alex for bravely getting on and showing your work in progress and inspiring folks. Thanks to everybody for jumping in the chat with their questions and ideas. Really appreciate it.